experiment 19. Now understand what a seventh segment is. I have added that handout they brought to you after to make sure that you can get the decimal point. Now I've added it on the instructions. I scanned it and put it there. Those who did the robot, you now know what sensors are. When I say sensor, you know a sensor, so you can't say, but it's talking of sensor, sensing what? You were able, at least that experiment of the R experiment. So I'm now going to make it compulsory for a group to do both. Because the group which when I said you can build Explorer or Line Follower, those who built Line Follower, when it worked, they said they just got their badge. And I thought I had seen Nyombi. And somebody just said, for us we don't want to touch Explorer, they went. So that is compulsory. You have to build Explorer. Since programs are all there, Explorer plus Line Follower. So come ready. Anyone who can't access the stuff on course study materials, any part of it that is not visible, or you don't care. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I'm not to do this and then not access experiments.
That is during experiments. During and after I made sure things are accessible. So I wanted to be sure that you can access, so you haven't checked. So, but experiments were accessible. The experiments probably link wasn't, but there are experiments on the course. There were files on the course. They were accessible. Those ones were visible to you people. Pardon? What do you want with robots? we are doing a different experiment.
Yes, but my instruction is not
You did a robot?
No.
I brought the Professor Benon printed for us copies and I gave you hard copies.
Yes.
So what is the part about? Let me see. So the experiment 19 and robot. These other ones, 17, is to make sure that you understand the theory we did in electronics, especially the board diagram. But I need to have a logarithmic graph. Logarithmic graph paper. Any one of you know who knows how it looks like? Like has anyone of you tried after looking at the instructions to Segawa did 19, so he was doing segments. He was doing 7 segments, so he was putting up the hand. Okay, subsequent lectures I'll be having the camera this side. So that I can see what is behind and what is going on this side since he has to do that. Then D4 also to have, just to make sure you have a review. So 17, D4 and 22 to make sure that you recall a bit of but the key ones that will be giving you thorough components of this course are the robot and then the segment. Others could help. Those sets, those black stuff are communication systems. They're supposed to be giving amplitude, modulation, whatever. Like it's a fabricated system which you can help to whatever. But since the moment they supplied them in a project, they have been lying there. They do work. They are new. They supplied them new. and put them, and we just piled them there. And but I'm sorry. Yesterday you saw my when I'm having my nerves high. So I must say I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to talk to a colleague like that, but I was really pushed to the wall. I announced that I'll be using robots. They buy me batteries. They promised they will buy. I asked the other day. They said they have bought. I asked in the morning, they said yes, they are there, but the auditors have to first audit them. So after lunch, I normally have another lunch, I drove to Wandege, bought the copies, the payers we use. I'm reaching here, all the breadboards are having a bunch of wires stuck in. Wires are this way, why do we have to be having Africa looking like that? And somebody is being paid for that. As this lab is concerned, he's only paid for Wednesday, 2 to 6. That's when he's supposed to appear. I even cancelled Monday. And because some of us always talk nice, speak with him, Uganda, make jokes, then you ask him, he's like, no, maybe there were students here. And you are not known who is supposed to be doing your work. I'm disappointed that I dropped off wires, but I'm very happy that he worked. Yesterday he worked with one heart. He didn't sit at all. I'm tired. People who do things as if... this is where people earn a living. This is where they get fees for their children. To pay fees for their children. But the way the whole place looks like. You go to the lecture theater, these things broke down. It's like we are in a garbage place. When we were in the top university. So sometimes I have played it cool just to say, but I'm reaching a limit also. That's why I want to get money and build my island. Where will I get it? The money. I will get money. Money is a friend. It visits. When you welcome it, it comes. So I really apologize for that. I didn't want you to see me.
It's okay.
It is not okay. I wanted always to keep cool until when I say bye-bye to you, but it reached me here. From Wandege, I drive my fuel to Wandege. I spend my 30,000, which pay is 5K. My money. And the fools in those the auditors think that we start the auditing. Materials are coming in the middle of a semester, they have to first audit them. So I rolled off the other day when they said we can't release money, we are broke. I didn't want to tell you this, but I went to the bank and got the 2 million they wanted. I gave them to the technician. When he told them they have brought the money, they said, now we have the money. So they gave me back my money. That's how your power came back. No, I will use it. 2 million is a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. It's a piece of cake. How much is my fuel tank? I come here every day. So you think I use how much in the fuel in my car to fill up the tank?
Use the whole tank.
No, I don't use the whole tank, but I have to feed it. Full tank. So I need how many weeks to finish the tank? Yes. Wherever I come from, but in 2 weeks the tank is done. I'm not rich. I have a rich heart. Yes. I'm not rich monetary-wise, but I have a rich heart.
These days, you know, cassava.
Cassava, you don't work for it. I'm going to give you cassava at the end of the course, so don't worry. We shall have a party. The number is good. We shall have, I will increase on the snacks. We'll add more chicken this time. Oh, second, you are not happy. Second one doesn't need chicken. And remember, I promised you, if my maize is ready by that time, I'll also bring maize and the cooking, the charcoal stove. So that we...
Actually, instead of chicken, you can...
You sell chicken so I can order?
Yes.
No, we can get the one which is made, then we roast the other one just for purposes of having fun. The reason I make parties, when we were in Norway, we had a professor who used to teach a course called experts in team. The experts in team is that they would bring people in engineering, we in physics, people in geomatic, different departments. Then they would make a course. Then you solve a problem. You look for a problem around the university, and then solve it, and then present. So at the end of the course, he would take us to his home and grill for us meat, whatever. He would say soft drinks are free, water is free, but if you want booze, you can come with your booze. But I eventually learned that he was not so generous. He wanted to learn the behavior of the international students that we were, because the university had a lot of international students. So when I came also, I said, I want to learn you. So I started making the parties, and I have no regrets. The money I normally spend on the party is enough to learn all of you. Those who take double, the ladies who put lipstick and stuff when they look strange.
I think for me, we give less people for now.
So that's how I used to learn. So the last time we ended on one of the sensors, which is the IC temperature sensor. And now we can move on to the next part, which is capacitive transducers. I've been talking about these transducers indirectly, but now we look at them in terms of the technicalities involved. I really wouldn't have wanted to tell you that I have to look for money, because that would be sounding like bragging, but the annoyance is too much. If you buy things, and in the middle of the isn't this 7th week? Yes. And learning teaching is 14 weeks, so we are already in the middle. So before I go on is that whenever you think of a capacitor, then depending on which type of capacitor, then you start looking at the parameters that make up a capacitor. So for example, if we look at the parallel type capacitor, we know that once we have the two parallel plates and they are in this form, so they don't have to be rectangular always. They could be circular, they could be but parallel, or they could be rolled. The capacitors we use in the radio, you see in the radios, and these ones you have been using on the circuits there with the two leads here, and they are circular like this. Cylindrical. These are not cylindrical capacitors. So when we talk of cylindrical capacitors, never be confused, and you say, yeah, we use cylindrical capacitors in our circuits which we have been using. It's not about this being a cylinder. When you break this one up, there are two sheets of aluminum, but separated by some piece of like polyethylene paper. So to make sure that they do not touch each other. Then they roll them so that you are having a longer kind of, this part here is long. They are rolled. You can imagine rolling a small sheet of aluminum with some piece of polyethylene in the middle for separation. And then you roll it to make such a size of the capacitor. If you broke it and you have to, it may even reach the other side of the lab. And ways it's like, you get one capacitor, you rip it off and try to unload the components inside. It's a long thing. But because they have to fit in some valve for easy placement in the circuits, then we roll it up. Okay, I say we, humanity. I don't work in a factory for capacitors. They are rolled up to make sure that they fit, and also to make sure that the field that is kept in the middle here is long and is much enough. But you know the problem we have capacitances of 10 to the power negative 12, 10 to the power negative 6, very tiny. So you find capacitance is so tiny that even when you are rolling, to make sure that you can store some charge here, it really takes a lot of effort. Now, so the idea would be, if this is the area, this is the separation, and then you have the material depending on what it is, whether it is, if it is air, you have the epsilon naught. If it is a dielectric, you have the epsilon, the positivity of the dielectric. So it means with any of those, if you change it, you change the capacitance. Now you can use any of these parameters, either of area, or of the distance of separation, or of the permittivity, in order to cause some sensitivity. So that when you change the capacitance, then some sensitivity is changed. If I come here and I make a joke, you all smile. So I have made some change in your mood. And I have taken advantage of your ability to smile. If you are dumb, like if you are if you are deaf, and I come here and I start making jokes without showing any facial expressions. Like I come here and I'm like, you know what, things are very nice. When you go out there, you enjoy it, but I'm very gloomy. And someone is deaf, he will also be looking at you like this. And if I come here and I say, you know, many people have died, and they have all gone to hell, and he's deaf, but I'm smiling. You see, so start smiling. Because he's seeing me smiling, not the message that he's now using the eyes to make sure that he senses what I'm trying. That's why normally when these people of science just looks and then says, yeah. And then he says, now that was a nice news that they won, something like that. So changing any of these would change the capacitance. When it changes the capacitance, remember capacitance is equal to Q over V. So you can affect the voltage. That means voltage is equal to Q over C. So the voltage, if your meter, if your display is able to be powered by the voltage, that means then you can read something on your display, on your 7-segment or liquid crystal display, and then it starts giving you the values you want. But when actually what was changing what is changing is the capacitance. And it is changing because either you are changing the dielectric, either pushing it in or withdrawing it, either you are separating the plates to be farther away or nearer, or you are having the area. By the time I started this course, we didn't have smartphones. So it was unbelievable that you can think of somebody coming and is just sliding the thing and then puts in the pattern and then the thing opens and then taps and then opens WhatsApp. It was unbelievable by our time. So it was theoretical. When you would be talking of a pressure capacitor sensitive to the pressure that you have put in, it was unbelievable. It was like how the hell is that? You tap something and then it responds, but now you know. And then now you go to the supermarket or you go to the coffee shop and you go to the machine and you tap, you choose. In some of them you just drag in what you want, cappuccino, you draw. Then you tap, then it mingles your stuff and you draw and go drink. You get the point? So understanding these parameters beyond what we just, in the electricity and magnetism, we just covered them for purposes of knowing what capacitance is. In electronics, we again looked at them in a more advanced way, understanding how capacitor works and a few other things on the capacitor, tried to look at the integrating bit and the differentiation bit, but here we are taking advantage of its properties to make a sensor. So this is a touch sensor. This whole thing is a touch sensor for the phone using the capacitive transducer. Yes.
According to the expression written, V is equal to T over C. Now, on a circuit board, how can the area be valid? The area between
I did not bring a small radio those days of electricity and magnetism. No. I did not bring a radio and started tuning it in the class. Okay, so in a radio tuner, there is a part where you have there are white things. There is like something like a minor screw here.
Yes.
Yes. So now, what are you saying?
Because I opened the radio.
Eh?
I opened the radios and see them.
Okay. So since you open radios, I can open the radio, and when you see the things, there is another part which is like when you are not keen. Okay, they are saturated, perfectly saturated. If you are not keen, you may think that the turning of this scratched here, but it is not true. This part also is metallic, and so when you get the screwdriver and turn here, this one here comes here. So if it has rolled and has come down here, like if it is in this state, and of course with the other one underneath, that means you have maximum capacitance. They are parallel plates. They are parallel plates. You have, if they are here, then they are maximum. I don't know how let me put like this. So if they are here, they are maximum. So assuming this thumb of mine is the screw. So if you screw like this and move away the other one, and now they are like this, they have no space between them. So you have zero capacitance. Now, but if it is almost like here, the area between them is this just small area that is covered. You keep increasing the area, this is maximum area. And they are together. Yes.
So which pattern is this guy talking about? The one that used to change the stations, or? But I think you're talking about that.
I'm talking about a power plate capacitor, whether it is within a changing station, whether it is somewhere else. But also you have other capacitors which are the ones which are on the sidelines of the tuning circuit. There is one which is on the tuning, like there are 4 of them, if I am not mistaken. And then you have some which are on the side. You have an inductor which sometimes is waxed up so that the pitch does not change. And if you got a screwdriver and you put in the pitch, then you hear the channels changing a little bit. And then these capacitors also, you find some of them have where you can, a minus section where you can put a screwdriver and change it, and also adjust the capacitance. And the adjustment is because you are having the fundamental frequency, looking for the fundamental frequency from XC is equal to 1 over 2 pi FC. Is it FC like this? And then if So if you have XC is equal to, no, that is XC, then you have XL, XL being the same as 2 pi F. Yeah. In a tuning circuit where you have this as your antenna and a signal has come from the station and then induces a voltage here, this voltage goes to the body of capacitors, inductor, and then resistor, and this is what we called the LCR circuit. And this so you can change the inductance by, if you wanted to change the pitch, you can change the capacitance here and the resistance here. Until when a station like, what is your favorite station, Chibila? FM station. Which one? 87.5. I mean 88.5. So 88.5, there is no station, I don't know. Frequency modulation. If it comes and induces the voltage here, and then you have the current increasing at the maximum, at the fundamental frequency, which is 88.5, then you get the signal clear. That is what they call resonance. So at resonance, you get the station very clear. Now, you can either use these ones here, or interfering with this to calibrate and get the fundamental frequency exactly at 88.5. If you are a very funny parent that you don't want your children to listen to you, to come and enjoy your radio, you can adjust all of them out of the range. They switch on, they look for any channel, nothing. You see, there are kids who would be fun those days, who would be fun and come, tune the thing, dance, they dance themselves, see you come, the batteries are gone. So if you have done good physics in IC circuits, you can push all the channels out of the range. They come tune for anything, to dance to nothing. So they say his radio is dead. And then leave it there. When you come, you just go there, you do like this, you do like this, your station is back where it is, then you start, then they're like, is he having magic or what? And that's how life can be. So, but the other things, the DJ, where is the DJ? The DJ can explain how other things work. For me, in your free time, for me, I've done my part. So capacitive transducers, measurements of displacements, which are sensitive, are measured using a transducer, consisting simply of two closed space plates or a plate suspended between a pair of other plates. So if you, I already talked of if you wanted to make an alarm that is still, that is hard to find out. I told you that, for example, in our lock here, you can decide to make sure that this one is a bit fake, but so you can have this hole here as your plates, the hole there, and then you can have this other, how do you call this thing? The whole thing is the lock. But then this one is what?
Loka.
So, but I see you get chill and go, you are just joking, you are just, you know what I'm holding?
Yes.
Okay. So this thing here, if this was to be our direction, okay? And then you have the plates here. That means when you lock, and it has entered the other bit, the other plates fully, you have a particular type, a particular amount of capacitance, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, assuming after that there is a way you engage analog, that if this one is removed and the capacitance changes, an alarm sounds. Now, someone who steals who either picks your key from anywhere or makes a copy and then finds your door closed and tries to open. For him, he's opening and it has opened. So when he opens and now there is that displacement, either this is not the displacement of the plates, but this is the displacement of the directory. Capacitance changes, the alarm goes off. But he was sure he has the key. And when you look at the door, there is no big deal. There is no installation that is there that you can say maybe this is an electronic door or whatever. But you can take advantage of that if you are smart enough. This door here is plywood door. So they just wooden stuff up here, maybe in the middle and down, and then on the outline, the rest is plywood. If I was to be very annoyed, I can bang the thing and then it just collapses. So you can have your circuit embedded in here. And then through somewhere here, you put the sounding, that side, the buzzer, somewhere to make noise. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is that you can start small. Eventually, after, you can imagine how a smartphone, the phones, mobile phones started as big as almost this. Actually, those days of cell phone, people used to carry them here, hanging like this. They would walk with them here, just to make sure that the rich people had a brick like this. Of course, then phones, the smaller it was, it became, that meant that is class. Now people carry phones which are like this, the tablets, and you find him talking like this. Where are you? Because the tablets now you can put in a SIM card and it is a phone. So you find somebody, so the bigger it is the class, You have a big thing, you can place it there, draw the keyboard there, start typing. So the fashion and the class keeps changing depending on the perspective of the people. Isaac, where do you sleep? When I met him here, I said, Isaac, then he said, he said, I'm okay. Now I said, why do you keep saying this? Now he's here. This man has a little Lord as a course. BSc has a little Lord. Do you work, do you have a night shift? Do you work in a hotel or what? He's here, he's dozing. Why don't you sleep enough?
Stop stuffs all the days.
There is too No, I'm not impressed. You can't be in my class and like, when I'm enthusiastic, talking a lot of stuff that makes people laugh, and then for you are like, program your time properly, yes, please.
Yeah. To a layman like me.
Are you a layman?
Okay,
Okay,
to a layman.
Yeah.
Okay, to a commoner. To a commoner, would it make sense and then you tell them that this so-called thing that I call the log, that it's down that completes the circuit and then this buzzer is...
No, you don't need to. They don't even need to know.
Okay, of course, no, they don't need to know. But okay, me, I want to know.
But that means you go beyond being a layman.
Yes.
A layman would be my customer. If I design the lock like this, I simply tell them, when you buy a lock, get a technician to fix it. Most likely the technician is my employee, who I send to fix it. There is a charge for fixing the door. I want you to understand, I want you to wake up. I bought a computer in 2004. That computer was Windows XP. It is, up to now it is in good shape. Where it has gotten a little bit of issues, but it is in good shape. I can watch a movie on it, I can transfer files on it. But Microsoft terminated the Windows XP. I cannot get updates, I cannot get anything. So if I was to put it on the internet, viruses would kill it immediately. But they don't give it down. But I paid them money. If I pay money for a property, why shouldn't I own it for a long time? I have this laptop I've been having here. It's a Windows 10. Its hardware cannot allow it to improve to upgrade to Windows 11. Now they announced in 2025, Windows 10 will be obsolete. My hardware is still new, as you see, but software will be gone. But these are people who have capability of training everybody and even release those things, but they are business people. You understand? So when you make a technology, you don't have to hustle and explain everything to the end user. You can leave him to suffer in hell as long as they pay you. Then you send them the technician, he fixes the thing.
Okay, I'm your technician.
So as my technician, you'll be able to understand how the electronics work. You must understand that when you are fixing it, the lock, the thing has to enter and finish all the plates for the amount. Or you can have the capacitance that triggers the whatever to be at a given range. At this range, as long as it has entered this much, because you will be having an experience of having some people having fixed their frames in a fake way. There are doors you find that the lock just, if you were to look through these, you can see the locks, so it didn't fit because they fitted the door wrongly. So you put that allowance. For me, I told you already that I will buy an island. I'll make sure I get patent before I die, and I'll get a lot of money. There's one thing I have gotten already. I can't tell you. I want to package it well, and I'm sure I'm going to get money. It's not electronic. It's not electronic. But I'm going to get a lot of money. Once I have packaged it, I will give all of you a sample. You don't know where I got it from, but if I give you a sample and say you go test, then you give me a feedback. But have I tried to clarify, but ask your question properly as a technician, not as a layman.
It's outside
What completes the circuit and then after you complete the circuit and then the alarm is triggered to something.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry, but this is the frame, since you are not seeing there. Okay? This is part of the frame. This is where the door. This is the upper part of the door. This is the one where the lock goes. The lock goes. This other one, which is this other piece here. This one is a bit curved. The curved one for just opening and closing. This is for locking. Okay. So this one for locking here. This one, if you put a plate here and another plate on the other side, and connect these plates to the charge, to the battery. And then this one here, you make it now to be, it can be in a material which is a dielectric but strong enough to act as. These ones are metallic, but you can now make it they are materials. You can make a material which is a dielectric and strong enough. And plastic. Like improved plastic, whichever way you want to call it. Even glass is a dielectric. So you can make it in a Pyrex, like this, but coat it. You can coat it with some, like goldish, or silverish. But when actually its body is actually glass for acting as a electric. So immediately, when this side there is nothing, you don't need anything, because you are just changing the capacitance by pushing it in this one and pulling it out when you peel. So the whole electronics is just on the other side of the frame, and you can put these wires go somewhere. Then you connect your power. You can even have a panel that supplies the thing so that it is always on, and then you have a buzzer which will be able to be sounding whenever somebody comes. When I lock the car with an alarm and you come with my key, you will open. But the moment you have opened that mechanical interference, it will start sounding. If it doesn't sound and you start igniting the engine, it will now make noise. But you were able to open it anyway. Is it now clear? This is I'm giving you an example of something which you haven't found in some doors. Why not? You can do it and say, now I have this, you can buy it. So someone who makes keys comes to steal, opens comfortably, and then after it has opened, starts now it's like, what happened? There's no sensor anywhere to see the person, but maybe it responded to I brought here the light. It is working for me miracles at the gate. When border borders are passing, it shines. So they think maybe I work in government. And I brought some of these on the road which normally photographs us. So now I'm photographing them. So my part, there are now few border borders taking that route. Before you would hear them, then they reach there, they first like stop a bit. Now they don't. When they reach there, even when they are coming back, going away, it flashes. So I have like a whole kind of disc that is collecting all these photographs. And I have nothing. And it has a part where you put it's like an antenna, like an radio. So they know the things are directly wired to my place. It came timely. It came timely when I am about to travel. So when I travel, I'll be just not burdened.
I see it somewhere.
So, but you see, this is where my frustration is. That it's like for us in Africa, we just I teach to earn money, then for you just learn to get a degree, and that's it. And then after eat matoke. Then others make things, we buy, and we buy happily. And some people even feel great that I bought this expensive thing. And you are making nothing. Imagine, even amateurs, we buy. Anyway, I will make my own lamp if I can't make what I want here. But remember, all this that we are talking about, where we can make. So these measurements of displacements, if there's a displacement, then you can, if I now may get away from the door and get back to the course. If you know that you are going to displace something, you want to measure slight displacements, and you are looking for how, like this, how this URA, is it URA or UNRA? How UNRA measures on the way bridge. So So they just make the truck pass, and after the truck has passed, then they know the tonnage it is carrying. So a capacitor would be those two plates somewhere where it has to step. It doesn't have to step on the capacitor. They could be metallic plates, and those metallic plates are the ones which compress on the actual capacitor somewhere. How what you innovate looks like depends on your experience. I don't know whether you understand. In design thinking, if you want to innovate something, you go out to the user. Then you ask the user a couple of questions. So you can go to the user and say, if I was to make for you a phone, what would you want to be on the phone? That's why we have a torch with almost everything. With the radio, with the torch, with the calendar, with the clock, with the calculator, alarm, everything. So you have a torch, you have everything. Now I used to be with some people, and then I hear in their pockets numbers being read. 0, 7, 7. At first me I thought maybe because the people I was always where it happened, one of them was a Muslim. So maybe I thought he has put an alarm to remind him that he should go pray. Until of recent, when I asked him, what are those numbers? He said, no, these phones have a default kind of ringtone. So the girl reads for you the number of the person calling.
Before it rings.
So you can listen to it and say, oh, this is Judge, I don't want to talk. Is it Cindy here? And then you refuse. Oh, this is the other girl I don't want to talk to anymore. So you just let it keep talking. 0, 7, 7, blah, blah. So the end is that those people who are making those phones, they looked at the common man, especially like in sub-Saharan Africa. What phone would you give them? Cheap, but then with this cheapness, they get everything they need. Do you think there's anyone who buys a radio these days? For what? You get a Katekno, a Katochi, you don't even need a nano. You don't need to put the headset to, these headsets to get a signal is there straight. And you just charge it. Then if you now innovate and say, I'm going to get a panel, like a small panel which charges this phone, or which charges like a small battery, which also can charge this phone even at night, you are done. You eat like a king. You make your small batteries and set, you go sell them. People still switch off lights. Security lights. Now if you got an LDR and make an automated light-dependent resistance, system, you make them, go in town, craft them into something, whatever, compatible with the installation. So if somebody just goes, gets the earthing, puts here earthing, puts here live here neutral, and then the system starts working on its own. And they need your money.
Comments again?
Pardon?
That's the procedure.
No, there is no, I didn't say any procedure. What I said, there are people who just have a central switch for all the lights, for example, on the fence. So if you can make a system with an LDR is a light-dependent resistor. I should have brought, since now we've got power, I forgot. I should have brought here for you the sensor lamps that I have. They have a direction sensor for motion, then an LDR somewhere in the sides. So if you install it on a veranda, like on a shed, during the day, they don't go on, no matter the motion, even if they are on by the switch. If it is at night, they don't go on until when somebody moves around. So they save power. They are only for security. It is until when somebody comes in. But I got a problem with those types because our power is very fluctuating, and then they die easily because they are 5 watts and they need consistent power. Power would go off and on, dims like this. Then eventually, if you are lucky, the sensors die. So it keeps lighting like a normal one. If you are unlucky, it dims. Then it is gone and useless. So you can, what I was saying, the procedure is that you can design an LDR enabled switch using some relay switches inbuilt. Then once you have made that unit, you put an outlet, you make it an instrument, you put it an outlet where the technician does not have to think anything, to ask his questions. You don't want them to ask how was it connected. You just put where to put the wires. Put here neutral, put here live, connect here the earthing, and then that's it. Put where the sun is, where the sun can shine nicely. When it becomes in the evening, it will go off. Go on. When it comes in the morning and the sun has risen, it goes off. That's it. You switch on once and go and sleep. Because there are people who, when they have gone out and they are drunk, probably they have hangover, you find they are switching off security lights at midday. So I got, in addition to this security, this camera, like whatever, I got also other 2 lamps, which use also a panel. They have a panel on top. They are like this. So there is a panel here on top, which is one of the sensors we talked about. And then underneath here, this other side, there is a lamp here and another lamp here. And then underneath, the bottom has down here, underneath, there is a sensor which goes really like almost 50 feet. When you are somewhere 50 feet, it increases the intensity. And then when it is during the day, when it is charging, it switches off. So the solar panel charges the inbuilt battery. In the evening, the charging stops, it lights, but lights in a dim mode. When you approach it 50 feet, then it shines, it becomes brighter. So no hassle, no money you don't pay a car, you don't have to know whether the lights were on or off, you just sleep comfortably. You install once, that's it. No mechanical, no maintenance efforts needed because of the sensors and the transducers involved. The same as the security one, it has a panel on top and the LEDs. We said LEDs, I brought it here. LEDs consume less power and they give good light. And indeed, is it you who was saying that the light that I push it this side, so it has, and it is light. So I don't need to care whether power has gone or has not gone, whether, as long as there is the sun in the night, I know it will light. So we remember that C, the capacitance we are talking of, is for a parallel plate capacitor. Since we are talking of these closed spaced plates, is given by, remember C is equal to epsilon r over then A over D, where A is the area, epsilon is the permittivity, so epsilon r is relative permittivity, epsilon naught is permittivity of free space. I have a challenge which some of you haven't realized. I calculated the Wednesdays when we don't have to be in the lab, and there are holidays, and when I will be away. Did you realize that?
Yes.
And now, so when will I compensate? But you see, the lawyer. When will I compensate the other 2 to 4? No, you were the lawyer. Mwezi was a pleader, maybe. Is a pleader the same as a lawyer? Yes. Maybe he was a witness. But you are the one who said, but sir, you said that you will be compensated. So I found that challenge.
But you see,
That
why
what?
it will be on or off?
On or off means what?
I might go for the on day or not.
You don't understand. We said we shall use the Wednesday.
Yes.
That we don't, when we don't have practicals. But when I was scheduling practicals, I chose days, when I chose days, 9th October is Independence. Then 16, we are here. 23, I'm not around until November something. So November 3rd, we are back here. Then now we are about to do exams.
But it is blended learning. You can be on.
No, we shall, I understand you, we can be online during that period, but that is for lecture, this lecture, which we cut short because of your laziness. So, but don't worry, the course is not, don't be scared. We are going to look at these capacitive transducers, look at inductive transducers, and then communication system. I'm not going to waste too much time on the part of amplitude modulation, frequency modulation. Yes, we have FMs, but these things have now become almost the advancement. When you are using a phone, you don't care really. As long as you plug in, everything is okay. But for frequency modulation, we shall try to make sure we work on. But AM, amplitude modulation has now, do you have any AM radios operating? So the same applies to VHF, UHF bands for TV, for example. We are now on digital. You just get your antenna put outside, the satellite TV comes. It comes straight. So the transponder, we don't care what is the transponder of the Intel satellite, which is giving us a communication signal for the TV, for the satellite TV. All we need is just a good image and make sure that we are well placed to receive the image. So that's why I'm not worried about the course as such. So epsilon r is the relative permittivity.
What about MW? It was MW on radios. What is
Medium wave. It was medium wave. So you have amplitude modulation AM, then medium wave MW, short wave, and short wave used to be like short wave 1, short wave 2, short wave. The more bands you have, the more you are rich, eh? Like you find somebody with 4-band radio cassette.
Yes, 5-band radio.
Yeah, so you have AM, that's 1 band, F, the short wave 1, 2, 3, those are 4 already. And there was no FM. So then there came radios with AM and FM. Now when FM came, the other old ones became obsolete. It's only maybe BBC which was using that because of the long range. With the shortwave radios, you could use ionospheric transmission. So you send by total internal reflection. When you send a signal from Aurora, for example, you don't have these experiences. But during our time, we used to watch Champions League at night in the hall of residence. In the evening for Champions League, our TV in the common room would be very clear. So at times we thought maybe it's because it is always dark in the night. That's why the signal is what? It's clear. Until when I got interested, when I got in electromagnetism first, when I got introduced to the ionosphere. So the ionosphere is the sphere which has ions. Ions which come from when you have ultraviolet, the ozone splits in the oxygen and the oxygen ion. So when you have that oxygen ion, I don't remember the equation. I want to be sure. So you have electrons being, populated in this part, which those of you who are doing space science, you must have heard about. So you get the ionosphere. It is an ionosphere because it is a sphere of ions around the Earth. So a mast in Pororo, for example, would have a transmitter. This transmitter would send. By total internal reflection, this would come to your TV or radio, whichever it is that we are talking about. Or it could be a radio. And then you have your antenna there. So now, in the day, during the day when you have UV enough, a lot of ions get formed. So the ionosphere expands. When it expands, it becomes large here. You see how this signal here ends up at the shoulder? So during the day, when you are tuning radio, when you are watching TV, the signal is fake because it ended at a faraway place from where you are. Now during the night, we would get what we call recombination. The oxygen ions, the negative ions would again combine with the oxygen and then become ozone, and then it depletes. When in the night it has depleted around here, then that means whatever comes up to here even goes further away. And then you get a clearer signal. In this era of satellite communication, that is bypassed. You get the signal from the transmitter, it goes straight to the satellite, goes to the transponder. The transponder sends it to our radio or TV. The only challenge is when you have this range here, this column here, where the signal, the satellite is passing, which we call the TEC, the total electron contact. That column there is the one which gets a little bit disturbed when there is a change in the ionosphere. It affects it somehow, which we call simulation. Like you get this antenna there for our GPS. The reason we use this GPS antenna is that if we collect data and then we find there are some funny changes, then they give us the nature of ionosphere. This ionosphere, the charges can change if we have a release of charges from the sun, something we call space weather. Okay, forgive me for taking you in all this. You had your hand doing like this. You wanted to challenge my knowledge in space, or?
I want that version before you bring it to satellite. You say now the signal for some distance where you receive it. So, would it be a general problem or?
Yes, it's a general problem.
So if the wave falls off the other side, so when the people that
okay. Yeah, you got me there. But you see, still, these people wouldn't get what they used to get before. It will be progressive. That here we used to get. So that means you start adjusting, because what used to come, you can imagine in the night you find the antenna, the areas we are facing this way. Then during the day you are again adjusting them. Then sometimes when you are looking for those times it was WBS. You find you were getting a good signal of WBS here. Then for TV you have to change again to here because it's VHF. Even now I'm having trouble with the people who are manning our free-to-air. Why should the signal of for example, NBS be clear, But that one of NTV is unclear, but I'm having the same set and we are using the same set line. Why should there be that difference? Why shouldn't they have a decoder, decoding system that makes sure that once I get a signal for a particular TV, all of them are clear? I don't know whether you get my point.
Sometimes some channels go off.
That's what I'm saying. You even going off is understandable. By us, they told me that some people don't pay because they pay 10 million, I think either 20 million per month to relay their information on the free player. But these ones, you find that you have adjusted the antennas. NBS is very clear, crystal clear. You scroll to the BBS Telefina, the signal is fake. You scroll to UBC, it keeps beeping, beeping and going away. Why? Somebody who is technical should make sure that once it is clear for one channel, everything should, because it's no longer those days where you find that each one, it will depend on the one who is sending. Because each of these people will be transmitting, they will only share the Mulongot. But now, this era, you first send your signal to the supplier of the digital signal, and then they are the ones to send it. That means they should have a standard. Even 4.3, these 4.3, you find some are 4.3, others are 16.9. You find one which finishes the screen, then you find some which just ends in the middle. You only struggle. So you struggle to make it auto so that it can, but then even when it goes over the screen, you find people when they are tall like this, because you just made it fit the whole screen. Or you find their cheeks are like this. He has a box, the one which has nyai. So then this is relative permittivity, and then the D is the separation of the plates. You never know, the thieves can steal for fun. So small changes in the plates, small changes in the plates, small changes in the not in plates, in the position, maybe sensed by either making the capacitor, part of the resonant circuit, I showed you the resonant circuit, the tuning circuit. So if that variable capacitance, instead of putting a when you put that variable capacitor, but the variations are being caused by this, so it is acting as a sensor. So when there is a change in the separation, then that is like the way when we are tuning. So you feel there is a change. But how you interpret it or how you make it be seen is innovation. Is what you... I still imagine that we are having pictures moving in the air, then we tap them here on a TV, connected to nowhere, then we start watching somebody. That is juju. Yes, I am here. I keep saying the electromagnetic waves move at the speed of light. I've already said the ionosphere, then transponder of the satellite, but that is juju. If you make your juju look nice, everyone says it is okay. Yeah. If If I had juju that I can fly, like I'm here, then I just disappear. When I step on the steps, but then I dress in a nice way. Like I put on some engine, and then when I switch on, you see me go, but I'm going by juju. So you think I have technology, that I'm going by the technology, but when you what? Juju. Because just getting witchcraft, sort of. Getting, you just get I get my TV outside there, then I start watching news. Somebody who is in the studio, and they look alike. Yes, when you make a live call, then you talk to them, they say it is fine. So you need to modernize your juju so that you can compete. That's what Bazungu did. They tell me it is electric field E, magnetic field B, then electromagnetic wave, then a curl of E. I come here, chop, and then say that's how they move. And then, but we buy them. I don't use a phone. I can take a whole week without receiving or calling somebody because I feel bad to use airtime. Air. And then you start wasting money. Airtime. You used to buy those when we had just got phones. You go and buy scratch numbers, put in air, you are paid money. That's not fair. So if I don't chat with you on WhatsApp or email, me calling, if it is an emergency, they will announce that there is a problem. After all, I'm not an angel. If you have died, you have died, goodbye. So that's not an emergency. If you are sick, I'm not a doctor. You have to go to the hospital. So, if we make a capacitor as part of the resonant circuit, then the resonance, we can achieve effects by how this value is changing, and then they are detected on the other side. Just like the way you are tuning a radio, because you are changing the capacitance, and then you get different channels. So if it was to make a buzzer, so that at a resonant frequency, instead of getting resonating with the transmission frequency, now we can say at that point, when the displacement is this much, it should make a beep. So a buzzer goes off. It's a doo. So for example, when I just bought my shopping basket, one day I am driving, some light comes. It is like this. I think like this. I don't know whether there are some bits or whatever, but it is for the tire pressure. I looked at the thing, all the symbols they had showed me, the engine, what. It was not part of that. Until when I had to Google. Then it showed me that it is a tire pressure, that the tire is. So when I checked all the tires, one was low. So I drove now also, I felt sweet, so I drove to the petrol station. I said, can you add for me pressure and the other, whatever? It's like, how did you know? Maybe you have a nail there. I said, no, don't worry about it, I just put some. He said, I told him, yes, I knew because it is on the dashboard. I was like, but you go to the garage, if they are opening something, they are using a hammer. Me, I've quarreled with there is a time I left my vehicle with the mechanic, and then I found his friend banging my vehicle. I said, why are you banging my vehicle? He said, no, this nut I have to use a hammer. I said, don't touch my vehicle again. The Muzungu made the vehicle, each part has either a screwdriver or a spanner to open it. You can't start banging my vehicle. He wanted to argue. I said, I'm the customer, I'm going to pay you. I have a right to say no, whatever. And then I told the other mechanic, please, I have always worked with you to avoid this nonsense of someone banging my parts of the vehicle. And when I go to the place where they repair it, no one else comes running. They know it is for the other man. This one hasn't told them. And then I have a trick, because I want to know what they are doing. I told the mechanic that I want to learn how things work. So if I am looking at learning, don't think I'm supervising you, but of course I'm supervising them. So he always works comfortably knowing that this one is a learner, he's learning how things work. But I'm supervising at the same time. Whenever sometimes they are going to do something short. So the reason I'm talking about that, when they were changing the shock absorbers, they needed to cut somehow. And they disabled some of the sensors. So there are some tires which become flat and I can't know. Because that sensor it is between the one bit is on the, so it is on the rim and it is facing another one on the body. So when the tire pressure is low, there is a difference. It gets displaced, and then the light goes on. Of recent, something that even made me sleep in the vehicle one Friday night is something like this. I don't know whether it is warming plugs or whatever. My big vehicle, it has a computer on one side on the door, like there. I didn't know. So me, I was driving, I would say, it is big, I can bang all the potholes and go. Then it got a problem. Just switched off. Until when my mechanic called, so they said it's one expert. He knows how these things work. The fella came, asked, do you have any other gadget that avoids people from either stealing it like another addition? No. Started it, opened the place, took the thing, they replaced the components, came, fixed them. I drove like a king. You get the point? Now, if I had gotten the mechanic and then they are opening the engine, trying to look for a problem, there was no problem. The issue was, it has because EFTs, the fuel, electronic fuel injection vehicles or transmission vehicles, they make sure everything is electronic. So fuel is done by the electronics. They change, if it is automatic and change of gears is by electronics. Then the other stuff, radio, all are electronic. If the electronics are not working, it just sleeps. And that's what it did. I would let it rest a bit, and then when I start, it starts. I try to move, then it sleeps again. So I slept in it instead, until the next day when they fixed it. No, I got a parking in town. I think there is that petrol station on the, it used to be, I think, Shell. The one, is it after former Fiddle or something? It is just hidden there. That's where I parked there, then talked to them. Now I imagined going home, then tomorrow comes, so I slept in it. It is like a house. I'm sorry, I tell you these things not because I'm bragging, but I want to drive the point home. I don't want you to say the man is telling us this or what. I don't want you to have that kind of attitude. I am carefree because I've taught you this is my time. And if I was to brag, I should have bragged when I met you first time. I should have said I have a vehicle. But now I want to make sure I want to make sure that I drive the point home. So I hope you would. I beg you take it in good faith. Yes, DJ.
But even in the short time when we also buy vehicles, of course.
They'll do what?
Of course, that very concept. When we also buy vehicles very soon, we shall also not be cheated.
Yes, so, yeah, but you see, I have dealt with people. Let me tell you one thing that you don't know. When I had just come here, I was carefree. When it is a lab session, I had a lot of gadgets, tablets, what. Until when we went into COVID and I started scanning through, I found out that me, I was being carefree, thinking I'm in a society where everybody can afford everything, so it shouldn't be a problem to anybody. But it was a problem probably to somebody. And you don't see me, even if with the phone, apart from using it as a clock here, you don't see me around, posing around with stuff. I've changed. I've understood how to whatever. You don't see me carry around my laptop here. Let's say we have a lab session that I come and be on a laptop. No. So I have learned that sometimes you are being careful. Because I thought I was going to inspire the students to be like me, fairly, with the stuff. And all the students are inspired to go abroad. No one even bought me a flash. After spending all the money on them, in terms of putting a router for them to get Wi-Fi, only one student bought me a watch. Those are inspired to go abroad. Others who knew that I like hard disks, I like external drives, I like tablets, nothing. Yes, they at least like I would have thought these ones who are in the US, these ones who were in Norway would say, no, this man liked a camera and he had a cafe camera. Let us buy him a camera with a microphone with what? Hakuna. Yes,
on defining constants, you have written separation of races.
Plates. You always dosing, so yes. What did you write back? It's all about that. So the capacitor can be part of the resonant circuit. I hope that one I wrote it well. Or using a high frequency AC bridge. A high frequency AC bridge. Where do we apply this? So yesterday people talked over the test. So probably before I finish this part, we need to agree. Can we do a test next week? No. Shira, can we do a test next week? Why? Always why? You have enough tests?
Yes.
Eh?
We have 4 without anything.
So when shall we have the test? Because next week is, next Thursday is on, this is 26, that one will be 30, that will be 3, so that will be 2 or 1, fast. We are doing the one of the TWINAMASIKO on fast, which is Tuesday. So second, third. So this will be on the 4th. 4th or 3rd? 3rd. No, I haven't fixed. I'm still counting. I'm still counting what next Thursday would be. Next Thursday would be, I have a calendar here, but what, Nabgonde?
4th. It is 4th.
Yes?
Thursday. 4th.
4th would be the Thursday. So you want it on the 11th?
10th is the Thursday.
If next Thursday is 3rd, why should the other, so it will be 10th?
Yes.
Ah, okay. It will be 10th. It will be, his counting is right.
Yeah, I count 17.
So test 1. Test 1.
There is MTN.
You can do 2 tests. How many you want us to?
Let us give this.
We can do
We need with MTN on the same day.
Team, you just go there,
Yes.
explain how to teach. You need to read anything. You just go there and explain how to teach. I This one also does MTM.
No, I just wanted to see what's there.
So we have agreed on the 11. Actually on the 10. Some nice combination of dates.
At 16 hours.
No, so when you do a test on that day, that means you finish. You don't waste time there.
Yes, just be there 1 hour and come this.
And so we come here and do a test first or I first teach? Test first.
We can blame.
We do it at 16:30 to 17:30 or 16 is sharp.
No, 16.
To 17:30. This semester I want to give you freedom. You argue.
And they shall pass.
You argue. You have no rights. Then when it comes to setting, then I also express my rights.
What about marking?
That one I have no rights because I'll be having a marking guide. But when it comes to setting, I'll have my rights also and set what I want. So remember that. So 16:30 to 17:30 hours.
Where we would have covered it.
Where we would have covered the next week, that would be the coverage. So applications, where do we apply these ones? We can have a capacitor microphone. For one, capacitor microphone. And these are very cheap. It's very cheap and very common. And very common. How do they work? Acoustic pressure or velocity. Acoustic pressure. Those who do acoustics. Is acoustics done this semester or next semester? This semester. Last semester. So acoustic pressure or velocity is converted to an audio signal. Is converted to an audio signal. Can you imagine? I am just talking comfortably. The sound waves go from compressing, and with the compressions and rarefactions, they reach the camera's microphone. Then its diaphragm vibrates, and then my sound starts being recorded. Normally, I don't have a transmitter and a microphone on me. It just goes straight because of the air. If you make this one a vacuum, my camera won't get anything. And you got that is it about in senior, in O level, when you had to get a glass container, and after getting a glass container, you had a vacuum to vacuum, and then you had the gong here, a gong for the bell here, and then of course with the electronics supplying to the electronics, so that you can be able to see what is going on. So you would have the air here, the gong goes, you hear doo, 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 then you drop the air slowly by the vacuum, then you start hearing nothing. But you are seeing the gong hammering the bell hammering the gong. Which one is the gong? Which one is the bell?
And you choose.
I was a timekeeper throughout my primary. And for us, we had the hoe. We would have we had the hoe. So this is a rim of the vehicle, and then you have a small hoe. When the hoe gets old, a full hoe should have looked like this. So if it becomes old like this, so you grab here, you come and hammer the thing. Then you know that is break time. So that's why for me the clock is here. Being a timekeeper for the whole of your primary school, the time is here. I don't need to look at the clock. I can just be there and tell you now it is this time. But if when I give some people a lift, when they look at my clock of the vehicle, it is disorganized. If I have adjusted it, then I make sure I am 5 minutes ahead. These days I don't care. Because when I reach home, I remove the battery terminal. In the morning I put, so the clock is always wrong. But it is here, in my head. So the acoustic pressure, the pressure due to this compressing of the air, as the compressions and reactions keep going, as you are having, what is the type of this wave? Longitudinal wave.
Yes.
So the transverse ones are these ones which go like this. So this longitudinal, once it reaches there, then either the pressure which it presses or the velocity, if for example the wind was just passing, you have had the noise in recordings where somebody is giving an interview and you are because of the wind which is passing by. So whichever the case, any of the two, the velocity, the pressure or the velocity is converted to an audio signal. So the capacitor is made by supporting a thin metallic plastic metallized. Is it metallized or you can't say metallized? By supporting a thin it is not metallic, it is a foil. It is a plastic foil, but that has been just put some sprayed with coated with some metallic. Okay, metal plated. A thin metal plated plastic foil. Like I said, I want to give you freedom. I want us to own this stuff together. Foil in close proximity. Of a fixed plate. So the capacitor is charged through a large resistor. So like I normally say, if for example, we had enough kits of robots that yesterday all of you did sensors and transducers. Then we have enough sets the other day, or we started with segments to cover what we had covered in the field. Then next time we do all of us, the sensors. Then next time we do the communication system at once. That's how learning should be. But this is Africa, as you normally say. So the capacitor is charged. The capacitor, I'm going to draw the diagram so I can see what I'm talking about. The capacitor is charged through. So do you have a test tomorrow? It's charged through a large resistor. Because I see you will be busy revising for the test, he's not in class. The capacitor is charged through a large resistor with a bias. Of 50 to 100 volts. And changes of voltages or voltage, I think is better.
Slow energy is a bias.
The bias of, you don't know bias? Through a large resistor. The good news is when I play the video, the sound is there. I say what I write on board. My hand is the one which mercies me.
It is slower than...
Yeah, I think so. I think my hand is slower than the talking.
Yes.
Or the talking is, the hand is quicker than the talking.
Talking is very connected with legs.
So as the diaphragm changes of voltages, as the diaphragm moves, do you know a diaphragm?
Yes.
It's like when they make a drum, if I just make it, so when you are making a drum, you put a diaphragm. It's a scheme, but that is the idea of the diaphragm. So this, when you are drumming, when you get the sticks and you are drumming, you are making the skin to vibrate. And then that vibration is the one which displaces the air, and then for you start hearing the sound. So how somebody beats the drum is how nice it sounds, and then you can dance to it. So if there was no air, you wouldn't hear any drum. So the diaphragm, that is a simple, because you are not going to see the diaphragm of the microphone easily, but the example of the diaphragm, this is the reverse. The drum is the reverse of the microphone. You would say it's like a speaker. You hammer it, then it vibrates, then sends. Now, if the air came and is the one which is making the diaphragm, the drum to vibrate, and that vibration now is drawn as an electrical signal, then it goes out as an audio signal which can be sensed in the amplifiers. So if it is an audio system and a public address system and I'm talking, my talking, the air now vibrates the diaphragm in the microphone, picked up by the amplifier, and then I say, every African, when they get a microphone, they start banging. You saw a woman who put it here? She was very common on social media. But when they gave her, you now talk to you tell I don't know whether it was an MP or whatever, you tell him your problem. She just got to put here. I don't know what she was thinking. But I don't know people who need to go to school, how they survive. How do they survive? My mother had never gone to school.
But she survived.
Wait. Why are you so see, she was wiser than the people who had gone to school. But then there are times when I am like there, maybe human beings are fake, we overrate ourselves. True or false? Every other animal, like the chicken. My my neighbor's chicken, and when I'm preparing to come here, it is 4 a.m. Then it is 5 a.m. It doesn't have anywhere it is. See, for it is, and for me that is the juju we should tap. Yeah, if that chicken, you can imagine chicken. Chicken in Africa, it is perfect. During the day, it will be there. It is, the sun is there, people are housing, talking, for it just stands and it is lunchtime and it yields and it is lunchtime. But we have not invested in tapping such a potential.
Segawa has chicken.
Chicken, Segawa. What the hell is going on with it? How does it? This one, your brother's chicken are fake. They are confused. They just bring food there. They don't even need to do that. The exotic ones don't do that nonsense. For them, they are there. You just bring food, they eat. After eating, they only talk when there is a problem. If you have not fed them, that's why they are following. They are not doing any activity. It is the local ones which have that, our local ones, which the ones which the juju we need to harness. Yeah, I have a band which really does it at 6:30.
Yes.
Like on weekend when I'm not here. It comes and goes on the wire, electric wire. It is a sound it makes. 6:30. It harasses me. After, then it goes. 6:30. Not any other time. 6:30. And then in the village we had the cranes. We had a particular tree behind our house. The cranes at 3 a.m. they will be making noise. Perfectly on clock, on dot. What I'm saying, any one of you doing biophysics or did biophysics last semester? Is it last semester or this semester? Anyone doing it? So now that I am telling you something, can you know the biology that makes a clock? Is it a clock or a cock? That makes a cock. Okay.
A male chicken.
A male chicken, because a cock may sound different. The male chicken, how it is, because why is it that, ladies, why is it that the female chicken don't do nothing?
They are lazy buggers.
I have not seen a female chicken getting buttered. Also, that is something someone should really see. Somebody, Rashid, what do you think?
Even before.
You are not getting, you are being trivial. I'm trying to show you something serious. And you are just being trivial.
No,
It is the cock that can give all this time and whatever. The chicken don't care.
They are females.
And they feel the animals are responsible for everything around the world.
Yeah. So that's why I say that human beings are overrated. When you go to the animal kingdom of other species, they have hierarchy.
Yes.
They never go to school. But these ones whom they say we have rights, equal rights, equality,
There is no equality.
then everything becomes a mess. And when you take two animals, if you took a he-goat and a she-goat on an island and you leave them there, next time you go, you find they have multiplied. Without any sexual reproductive education.
And they also know the new cows.
And they also can
You can't enter their family.
So the diaphragm moves and the sound is sensed. And the sound is sensed. And the sound is sensed as it moves to the amplifier. The ladies, don't report to me that when I'm teaching I talk about amplifier that I talk about things. I don't want to appear on the sexual harassment committee, much as I have my camera to help me explain my points. These days it is crazy. The other day I told you of the story. I told you of the story of Walter Lewin, my favorite professor. One girl just came up and said he was writing to me online suggestive messages. That's why I don't use WhatsApp. Someone will say, "Hi dear." And then you say, "I'm okay dear." Oh. Then she says, when he wrote dear, I felt different. Then it becomes a problem. Of recent, I was looking through the news, and then some girl was saying, I think the guy was a help of Trump. You know, in America, sexual harassment is like a weapon. A woman will come up and say, "He raped me," and everyone will believe. As long as she's able to say it, because people believe that when a woman says it herself, it is true. Like it is so sacred that a woman cannot say that thing, that it is so shaming. So by the time she says it, it is true. So a woman was saying that Trump's helper used to write suggestive messages, and it's as if he was taking. So that's why I don't chat with my students. Anywhere. If it is on when I just write, "Dear students, this blah blah, you see a BFT video." If you want to write to me, reply on web. These things of WhatsApp, and then immediately you screenshot, you say, "This guy, I thought he was," and you know they frame you like as if you are a devil. And they take them like they are angels. I thought he was a principled man. You look at what he was writing.
You know these things.
So our microphone is that we have a resistor through which we are charging the variable capacitor here, and then we have another resistor on this other side, and then we have the other. Everyone can see here. When a woman wants to make you suffer, she makes everyone believe. I was taking him like a good father.
It's happening.
You are a prophet.
So if you have the sound is here, like I'm talking. So this is the sound that is coming towards the capacitor, and then you have the signal, the pressure or the velocity, which now is taken to the amplifier, to the amp. Let me write it in full. The amplifier. This is about 1 mega ohms. This is about 10,000 mega ohms. This one here, about 10,000 mega ohms. And indeed, these resistances are high. I told you that I had a small radio station in my hall of residence, in my room. I had gotten an FM mic, had removed the circuit where the amplifier was, the microphone was supposed to be. I now fed in the signal from the radio cassette. So I would play music on the tape. Those days, the radio cassettes were still popular, those with DVDs. Not VCDs actually, DVDs had not come. They were the guys on the block. So then I would use my small radio, FM radio, when I'm going out to the compound to read. You find me, I'm still listening to my music in the room at Sibirwa. So when I would be in that compound down, which looks like hell nowadays, I will post my photo on Mwere for the compound, how it looked like our days. Very clean with nice fence. Now we look there, it's like pigs are the ones which move around there. Rashida, I'm sorry to use that example. Like in Kuruma, when you look at Kuruma, it's like they are rearing goats there. Today I walked, I had gone to the bank to look for something, and you really feel like, I don't know. But our time, the thing was kept, our warden had kept it clean. You would go down there and sleep there, read. By then Murago was being, that new Murago was being built. You see trucks moving around. You feel like you are, this place is modern. The other place was still fake. Nowadays, the reverse is true. Even hostels are, those days the girls used to like to come to the hall. Hostels were all fake. Now the hostels are more beautiful than those old days. Except Lumumba. Well, I don't know, except Lumumba, but even the University Hall, yes, was good. People used to make parties there, University Hall and Livingston. They used to make parties there, they were looking good. And, but now there are hostels which look better. No, it is not that they were well maintained. The money that they would collect from the hosting or whatever, they would make sure that it makes. So this is 500 volts. We say from 0 to 50, I mean to 500 as the bias voltage. And then of course we have already talked of the C being the same as epsilon naught, epsilon R A over D, and epsilon naught is about 8.85 picofarad. Do you know picofarad? And the variables in this sensor here are the separation, the area, and we can now, since this is a constant, the variable now is the relative conductivity. I'm summarizing to show you to look at the key issues. The key issues that for a capacitor, if you are going to look at the displacements, then you have to be keen on how much they are separated. Then on how the electric can be introduced to change the, yes.
I want to see where these capacitor microphones are used, and then you also explain more.
I'm not going to answer that. Please, let's enjoy the course and keep. You have Google. We have Google, and after having Google, you think the 500 is too much or what? Because of the here having 240. Okay, you think that oscilloscope uses the CRT, the cathode ray tube, for the cathode to release electrons. You think it uses how much voltage?
Depends.
No, we normally plug it in here. But you think what is the rating on of that cathode ray tube? There was one which was naked. If you were to check there, it is in thousands of the volts. Even a TV, there is a step-up transformer that transforms the 240 to higher voltage in order to release the electrons. So, but this is a microphone for a sensor. This is not a microphone for just talking. As we are looking at it as if you were using it to do some sensing. So that was one, if I remember, if I had put one, so we can look at these variables and see how we can change them. how we can make them enhance our sensor. So we start with the variable of, I don't know whether I should have said the separation variable. So the variable of separation, we can have D changing to D plus X. So I'm now being mathematical. So that, so we can have either, so the plate can either squeeze in or increase up, but we shall take the case of when it is separated more. So if previously it was at D, and you have separated them more, then you will be ending up going to the new displacement. I mean, the new separation would be D plus X. So if we had plates connected to the barrel, then we have, we can have this as the position previously at D, and then we have this one here being our X. And of course you could have drawn it this way, or if you want you can remove this and just put what we have been doing in the labs as this. So if you find a diagram which is having none of this, but with an arrow like this, and with this being V, so you don't say what the hell is that. It means that up here is a high potential, so the upper one is a positive plate, the down one is a negative. Or I could have drawn the actual barrel in the sense of the barrel cylinder. So, what I'm trying to say is that let's use this time more. Yes, you asked, but the applications are everywhere. When you go to Google and you say capacity, you will get all information that you cannot finish reading. So here for me is just to tickle you. Then when I tickle you, you are like, but what are you doing? Then you go and look for more information. And we are in the new curriculum, competence based. So the new capacitance, with the X being the displacement, with X being the displacement, so we will get the capacitance due to the displacement being the same as the epsilon naught, we have area A. Now the new would be D plus X. But I think in under normal circumstances, one would really, if these were, since these are movable plates, change the displacement, I think one could have felt more safe if you say D plus or minus. What do you think? You think this is the university. This is what I want you to understand. This is a university. And we can choose to do as we wish, as a group of people. And say for us, we are choosing to say it could have been when you have separated them further, or, and so it can be that you made them compress the separation, so that is D minus X, if the displacement was inward, or if you made them become larger, D plus X. It's up to you. So for example, if for the case of when much as I talked of the door being that you are locking in, but assuming you are now pushing, it's something that you will be pushing away from the other part. So you can implement one part to be a plate, the other to be a plate. That displacement now becomes something to be sensitive about. It becomes a stimulus for your sensor. With your sensor basis being based on the principle of capacitance. So anything can be a sensor. When you look at the pineapple, the teeth start shaking. And then after so now the rest is whether you can buy it and eat it, or whether it is yours that you are going to eat it. And then we can have the graph. And the graph is that the Cx would be varying with the displacement as an asymptote. Remember an asymptote?
Yes.
You remember? So an asymptote to this from some value of the capacitance C naught. So C naught is the original, the one when the plate is at D. And then when you start either increasing or decreasing, so it will depend on where we are going. If it is C plus, if we have the D plus X, then you will find out in your mathematics how the graph would look like. The next variable, we look at the variable of area. How about if whatever we are doing will change the area? Like I told you that half split circular plates. So variable of area. So displacement X causes the overlap, area to decrease, causes the overlap area to decrease. So assuming you had, for example, you have like a freezer, okay? A freezer which you open like this to pick things. So if the bottom of the freezer was a plate, the top of the, I'm just giving an example. If the top of the freezer was another plate, and then somebody comes and for you want to make sure that when somebody comes and has opened your freezer, then you know a signal, even if it is not an alarm, but you know that somebody opened. So that means if you slide, so if this is the freezer and it has two doors, it has this other door here, which normally slides to, so maybe I can stop it around there, which slides to open and see corners. So if I had another plate here, down here, which is, and maybe you have the bottom of the freezer there, and then I have the housing, and I have the housing here. So I have the bottles here of soda. I say beer, I have problems with Shilata. But do you take wine, Shilata? Do you guys take wine? Yeah? If the alcohol content is low. You don't try. And then you see Simon is like this. And you must be, are you a Catholic? Yeah. You are Pentecostal. Pentecostal. You don't drink at all?
Yeah.
Not even wine? So you don't go for this thing of you don't have communion? Why? Your Jesus doesn't want us. Because the Catholics, for them, they take this small one, and if there is leftover, the guy, the priest gallops the thing and says, God be with you. But it is allowed for them for booze. For Protestants, they pretend and say, as long as the booze does not make you do things that are not godly. But if you can control, you take. I don't know about the Pentecostal, but the Protestants take the wine. But it is always believed that the wine they are using for communion is so small. You can't get Me, I would wish they bring like a drum and then they make everyone take. Take. That means the church will be. Someone made a joke on, because it is also a sensor based, someone made a joke on social media that imagine if you put bungee in that thing which those altar boys go doing like, oh, the one the priest keeps doing like in the smoke, eh? So if you put in marijuana, for example, by the end of the mass, everyone will be high. He said, we have no money for the offering. But I don't drink. I don't drink. I had started, in our family we don't drink, but one time I had, when I graduated, I had started taking something. Like I would drink one bottle or whatever. Even here, when I just come here, you know that freedom. I will now had some small cassava, so I would go pick like a bell. Bell was 1K by then. Yes. But 1K was not easy to get either. So I'll tell you, since our time is almost past, I will tell you this because the other parts you can, they are just, these parts I will be able to finish before. I have my time, it is still my time still, much as I gave it to you, because you're not going nowhere. You are just going back to your hostels.
Yes.
So this is my story. In my second year, my roommate had a friend who had finished. Those days, getting a transcript was a hassle. So when he came back from the upcountry to pick his transcript, we hosted him. Nice as I am, the chief cook, is the late now, was my friend. So when I would reach the dining hall, he said, my friend, my chicken, you take everything. So whoever would come with, even if I want to come with 10 people, he would give them food without any problem. So this guy would enjoy the food in the dining, in the room we had. Remember Susan? I found a relative like who gave me a kilo of tea leaves. Do you know how big it is? A kilo of tea leaves, because I was working in a... So I had that, then someone else had given me sugar, like I don't remember how many kilos. So my room was like a tea room. So this guy enjoyed. So one day I was from library. I remember there was a Champions League match going on. People were watching in the common room. So when I reached the canteen, he was seated there. He said, I want to make you happy. You have hosted me where I want to make you happy. I said, no problem. He said, I want to buy you beer, because he was taking beer. I said, it was in May. And because I remember Champions League is around May, isn't it? So I told him, I am from the library and we're in tests and exams. I can't drink. So I told him, you can buy me Ofono. Ofono was this 700 ml glass Coca-Cola. It was the biggest by then. So there was no Ofono. And the phone, I think, was 700 shillings. He had already offered the 1K for a bed. So I told him, he said there is no phone. So I told him now, I can get 2 small ones, 500. He said, no, if you don't want to drink beer and there is no phone, well, let's leave it. It perplexed me. This is the fella I'm hosting. I'm helping him. He's the one who had offered. I hadn't asked. But for me, I'm looking for getting the value equivalent to what he had offered. He said, if you don't want to drink beer, which I'm offering, and you don't want, there is no phone, those two, let us forget that, let us assume nothing happened. And he was serious. So from that time I made research. I said, why do people want to drink with you, even they can put beer for 100K and you drink? But if you said, my child is sick, give me 1K, at it's a tenth of a hundredth of the money that he was spending, he can't give it to you. I have asked Chinese, I have asked Italians, I have asked Norwegians, I have asked Africans. Everyone says, if you don't want to drink with us, you take no money from us. Bring it here, we can buy you anything. That's how I left beer. How do I drink with fools who want to make me drunk, but they cannot help my problems? How does that work?
The problem is not the beer, it's the
Yeah, but if it is associated with problematic people, why should I bother with it? Because it will be triggering in my head. Then it became worse when I had graduated and I went in the village. Then my cousin was excited, he took us out. I took everything that was drinking. So I got drunk. So when we reached another cousin's place, which is a home ground, they told, I remember, they said, we organized for you where to sleep and you sleep. I told them, for us in our family, we don't sleep outside our home. So they took me home. We had 2 homes, one down, another one up. So they dropped me down. When I was walking up, we had a neighbor with a very drunk, they were drunk, I don't know, they had a problem, a family problem. They would drink, and this guy would drink and go. For him, he had gone to an MTC. So they told me that we walked speaking English loudly. I am interacting with this fella, that kind of drunk family. So when I reached home, my mother came and said, I told her that I'm going to bring back balance. So she went for the basin. By the time she came, I was already asleep. So in the morning when I was picking slippers from under the bed, I found there a basin. Then I asked her, what the hell, why the hell is there a basin? She said, yeah, you came speaking English with so and so. When you reached here, you said, I bring a basin, and that's why the basin is there. From that day, I said, to hell with the wood. So I'm a sober fella, 24/7. I don't smoke, I don't drink. I don't do anything that is alcoholic. Because there is no, yes, I take a lot of water. My office, I always buy water, keep there, keep drinking all the time. I am intending not to bother you with more stuff. But now, on the issue I am relaxed is that now you know how the practicals are going, how they are helping us to explain. Now when I talk of, for example, the bias here, when you are doing these experiments, you know what biasing is. We did forward bias, reverse bias. To bias is just to make sure that you give your circuit a given voltage so that another voltage is judged by what is already there, what is already available. So we meet, since you have said that you are not yet ready for a test, and please let's keep time. Let's I will try to be quick, but I'm very confident that we shall be able. I've already scanned the notes, but now I have to change. I am having a challenge of changing from, I am now supposed to change the images into a PDF. For the practicals, it was easy, because I get these images, put them on a Word document, change into the PDF. Because there I can remove these dark things. The ones I shared with you, you don't see them being dark. They were photocopied with dark stuff. If you see the photocopy or his original photocopy and what we printed out, ours is cleaner. It's like as if it was typed. So enjoy